Menteri Luar Negeri Amerika Serikat, Marco Rubio, menyampaikan pernyataan keras terkait Iran dan Mahkamah Pidana Internasional atau ICC dalam forum ASEAN. Dalam pidatonya, Rubio menegaskan sikap Amerika Serikat terhadap Iran di tengah meningkatnya ketegangan geopolitik. Ia juga melontarkan kritik tajam terhadap ICC yang dianggapnya tidak menjalankan peran dengan tepat.
All right, what's up?
Have you made any progress on Ukraine today? Is Russia serious about peace this time?
I mean, you think we settled the war in Ukraine in our 30 minutes in there here in Asia? That's not the way it works. Look, we had a good conversation, a frank conversation. I'm going to tell you what we talked about because these diplomacy doesn't work well when you run to the microphones afterwards. Suffice it to say, I'll tell you what I told you yesterday. The United States, the President's been clear that we want, if we can, we are prepared to play a constructive role in bringing about an end to a senseless war. And we're ready to do that. And we, of course, expressed that, and we've expressed it in other means. So we talked about other things as well, though.
Did you talk to him about Russia sharing information with Iran targeting U.S. troops?
Well, who says that they are?
Are they not?
Who says they are?
Peg said the knowledge that Russia was enabling in some ways, Russia and China.
Yeah, but that's a different question from what you just asked me. Who said that they're doing
There's
that?
been reporting that there's
Reporting in the media?
Yeah.
Oh, then it must be true.
So is it
It's
not
in the
true?
media. It's a leaker. I'm not going to, let's imagine that were true. I certainly wouldn't discuss it in the press. I've already told you guys yesterday something, and I was very clear about it. Nothing that Iran is doing, nothing that anyone's doing to help Iran is in any way increasing their ability to target Americans. What you need to all understand, because we've explained this repeatedly, is Iran has spent the better part of 20 years not just sponsoring terrorism, but building long-range rockets, short-range missiles, and drones. And they were intending to build them a lot more. They were intending to double their stockpile of the stuff you're seeing them use now. They were going to double that. And they were going to use that and hide behind that to say, we're untouchable. We can now do a nuclear weapon, and you guys can't touch us or we'll overwhelm your air defenses, which is why the president had to address this threat. And he did, and he should have. And other presidents should have done it earlier. The world will be a safer place because we addressed it. Unfortunately, in the short term, it creates disruptions. But you know what's really disruptive? A nuclear weapon in the hands of these radicals.
In Ukraine, do you sense that the momentum is shifting a little bit in the conflict? And if so, does that manifest itself?
I think it's a bloody war. I think it's a very bloody war. I think, Russia's now suffering strikes deep in their territory. That's something you didn't see. At the end of the year, the winter's still going to hit Ukraine, and they're, obviously going to have to defend their airspace. People suffering every day. I think it's the only conflict, I've been told, it's the only conflict that anyone in the military can recall where the killed in action rate is higher than the casualty rate. That's how bloody it is. The Russians, I believe, are losing upwards of 5,000 to 6,000 soldiers a week. That's a staggering number.
Does Lavrov sort of express that? Or
well, look, guys, I mean, when I have these talks, these things don't work well unless I come out here and characterize what the other side is saying. Suffice it to say that I think it's obvious to everyone that this war is very bloody. And look, Ukraine's paid a tremendous price as well. I mean, we've seen, civilian deaths, strikes in Kyiv. We've seen some of that increase. Certainly, I mean, this war has not been good for Ukraine either. So I think both sides should have an incentive to bring it to an end. That's been the challenge, is an end that both sides can accept. And we've tried and we'll continue to try to see if we can find a middle ground that brings this about. And we're prepared to play that role if the opportunity presents itself. We expressed that today and we've expressed it in the past.
Mr. Secretary, China launched live fire drills in the Taiwan Strait.
Yeah.
And apparently used water cannon on Philippine vessels near Scarborough Shoal.
Yeah, those are two separate incidents.
Two separate incidents, right, as your Chinese...
Yeah, look, I mean, they know where we feel about those issues. Obviously, we publicly expressed ourselves on the missile launch. It's a destabilizing event. And on what's happened with the Philippines, obviously we saw that too. The whole world saw it, and it's disturbing, and these challenges and these claims of sovereignty over territory are a growing challenge. That's why we continue to reiterate our commitment to our treaty partners, but also our commitment to freedom of navigation and respect for territorial rights in the region. And it's one of the cornerstones of our engagement in the Indo-Pacific, and especially via ASEAN. And I made that point in every forum that we've had here.
Sir, President Trump, he said on True Social that the U.S. is going to bomb and destroy a bridge or power plant every time that Iran targets a ship in the street. Is he talking about civilian infrastructure there? And do you think that is...
This is what he's talking about. Iran is begging us, okay, both directly and indirectly. Let's do a deal. Let's talk. Iran is begging every day. The problem with Iran is every time they make a deal, the people that are in charge there, they either break it or they want to change it. So it looks like they're not ready to make a deal. So they're going to continue to pay a price. And every night the price gets higher and higher and higher. And that's what's happening now. And until maybe in a few days, they'll be ready to make a deal once they realize that this is not a winning proposition for them. And that's what the president is outlining. The idea that this is going to continue, it's not going to continue this way. The price will continue to get higher every single night until they come to their senses. Right now, apparently they haven't come to their senses, and so the president doesn't see a lot of utility in responding to their overture.
Jelajahi cara baru mendapatkan informasi. Download MetroTV Extend sekarang.